Okay, my presentation is about some free software called LilyPond. That's their logo. I didn't draw it. That comes straight off their webpage. So it's been around quite a long time now. First release was in 1998, and the aim was to produce printed music from a computer that looked nice. At the time, there was software that produced printed music, but it really looked like it had come out of a, it's a difference between something written in plain Courier font and something that's been in a word processor. It is available for Linux, and as far as I know, most distributions have a package available. But you can get a generic one from the LilyPond website. And it is also available for West To use it, you write music in text files. And it's then compiled in inverted commas. I don't know whether compiled is an accurate description. And it produces PDF files. It actually produces PostScript files all the way. And there's lots of styles of sheet music it can produce. It can use the notation that's used in Gregorian chant. It can do tablature. It can do lead sheets, and it can do what I call normal music. Yes.
What is that tablature?
I think it's like a bit like guitar chords.
Oh, so it's what the learner to play guitar would have a tablature.
I think it's that. Yes, I've never tried it, and it's also possible to produce MIDI files with lots and lots of instruments in there. Most instruments you can think of, and some that I've never even heard. The LilyPond package for Linux includes an Emacs mode. If you run it on Windows or Mac, it actually comes with an editor built in, which looks just like Notepad to me. It's a very basic text editor. And there are graphical front ends and browser-based editors. You can actually type some LilyPond code into certain web pages, and then it will play it back to you and show you what it looks like as a PDF. So, what do the text files look like? Well, they can come in one big file, but there's two basic components. One, when you have music, one is the actual music, and then one is the way you format it on the page. So this is what the music looks like. I'm not going to go into vast details here, but you can see that at the top it's got a little bit of information that will be written there, like this is the recorder part. The notes themselves are just letters and numbers. The letter is the pitch, straightforward A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then the number is how long the note lasts. Now, whoever created LilyPond didn't believe in making you do too much work. So if one note is the same length as the one before, you don't have to tell it. Unless you change the number, it stays the same length. You may also be aware, if you play music instrument, that there's actually more than one A. There's an A. Again, you don't always have to tell it. You have to tell it where you started, which A or which B. If you don't just put A, B, it will say, I expect you want the nearest one, don't you? If you don't want that, you have to tell it, I want to be an octave higher or an octave lower. And that's, it's a long time since I've written anything in LilyPond. When I came to prepare this talk, I discovered I didn't actually have it installed in my current computer, which I've had about the same length of time of being in the committee. It's quite a while. But I think it's just an apostrophe for a high note and a comma for a low note. So this file here has the notes. And there is a very good reason for doing things in separate files. This is the file for the recorder 1, this is recorder 2, this is the piano, and so on. And that is to make it more versatile. So the next stage is to actually say, well, what do I want on this page? And on this page, it's a duet for 2 recorders. And I'm going to use recorder 1 and recorder 2, which are the notes for recorder 1 and the notes for recorder 2. I'm going to do a bit of a header, say who wrote the music, what the copyright is. There's lots and lots of things you can put in a header. If it's a song, you usually put in the lyrics. And then, how am I going to arrange it on the page? And what I want is to actually have the 2 parts sort of run next to each other, and then and so on, which you'll see in a minute. So it's saying the top line of music is going to be Andante, which I think, hopefully, no, I called that one Allegro there, but different movement. In the first file, you say effectively which part is it, and in here you refer to it. I've also put in there MIDI to say I would like a MIDI file as well, and then there's just a little bit of formatting at the bottom, the paper size, the margins, and things like that. So when I run it, this is what we get. I pinched this on the Free Music website. I did not do all this layouting myself. But you can see you've got the recorder 1 part and then the recorder 2 part. But they're linked together so you can see what's playing at the same time. And that's fine. Oh, and it's got a little thing at the bottom saying public domain. Engraved by LilyPond. However, the actual recorder player might get confused by looking at both parts at once. So it's also possible using basically the same stuff to say, let's just pick recorder 1. Like that. Okay, now LilyPond can produce MIDI files, and I produced some MIDI files from here. Yeah, let me just. Oh, come on, tell me. That's just recorder 1. And you can hear it does sound like a recorder. Then I decided is there a one? Yes, I've decided that I'd like to hear what it sounds like on a violin. So just change a couple of lines in my LilyPond files. And so on. But those aren't MIDI files that I've converted them to MP3 because I don't have anything to play MIDI files on. But it is very useful, especially if you're composing music for several different instruments, to see how they run together. It's very easy in LilyPond to transpose music to a different key. Several uses for this. One is that certain instruments, they don't actually have music written out in the key that they play. Clarinets, you have a B-flat clarinet, you have an A clarinet, you also have an E-flat clarinet. And to make it easy for clarinet players, they use the same fingerings on each one, and the music is actually transposed so that the sound comes out right. I don't know why big adult clarinet players need that. when 9-year-old recorder players have to learn a whole new set of fingerings when they change recorders, but that's the way it is. It's also useful if you've got some choral music and you find it's too high for your choir to sing or too low for your choir to sing. You just put one line in your LilyPond file and say, transpose this from C to A. Something like that. And there are quite a lot of online libraries of free sheet music that have been produced using LilyPond. Music is copyrighted in Australia for 70 years after the death of the composer. And after that it's free, but the sheet music made from it may not be free of copyright. If it's been published at a later date, that publication still has a copyright, so you can't just take a photocopy of it legally. So, with a lot of music, if you want to make it freely available, there's two ways to do it. One is to find some music which was published more than 70 years ago, and then that's okay. But then, if you've ever looked at old music, it tends to be a bit ornate, not all that clear to read. So the other way to do it is to actually transcribe it all. One particular project is the Utopia project, which I presume means Music Utopia. And that's where I got that recorded duet from. Yes?
So if you take a random piece of sheet music, use that to type it into LilyPond and then put a new sheet music, even if it looks identical, it's...
Well, it shouldn't look identical because the formatting will come out, almost certainly come out different.
But that becomes...
But basically, it's got to be, the composer's got to be dead for a long time
right.
as well for you to do it.
So not candle meat.
No. But I know a lot about copyright because I used to be the treasurer of a choir and I conducted and could choose pieces of music that were still in copyright, so we had to pay royalties to perform them.
Oh, really?
We'd say, wasn't he dead, Clayton? No. So there is an awful lot more to LilyPond. I don't know it all because, as I say, I haven't used it for probably about 5 years or more. If you are interested in music, the website is very easy to find. It's just called LilyPond.org. More questions?
Yes. So you can transcribe notes into LilyPond, but what about rests?
Yes, you can put rests in. The letter is R.
Rest.
R for rest. And capital R means a whole bar rest. You can also do things like rhythm notations for things like drums that don't have pitch. That's the notes with the little crosses on.
Sort of square brackets there. Is that like a save of 3 notes joined together with the square brackets on the tip?
Probably it could be. I can't remember. It's probably like a chord 3 notes on the piano sort of thing. You also have ordinary round brackets for phrasing or slurring or something like that. There's a lot of features in it. You do things like trills and no tempos, and it's always being added to. A lot of it is actually written, I believe, in scheme. I haven't tried doing that. But there's a new, the latest stable release was last April. That was 22 point something, they're now working on the 23s.
So this is basically LaTeX for music?
Roughly speaking, yes, except that LaTeX won't talk to you in this world.
No, yeah.
Isn't that sort of reminding me of tech?
Yes, I think it has got certain, it's drawn on there.
Yeah.
And although you can write lyrics in it, I don't think it will actually sing them on the MIDI file. I haven't tried, but I don't think so, because that would be a little bit hard.
Going back to your other sheet music, Going back to the sheet music that's still got copyright, is there an OCR-like system that you can just feed sheet music in and get out really quickly?
I don't think there's anything within LilyPond.
Right.
There are certainly other non-free music software that does OCR things and put it into. Attempts to put it into notes. It's not perfect because I have seen stuff that's been produced by that, and you then have to go in and edit it a little bit. But you never know, there may be one somewhere.
I did a quick search, and there's a Vim plugin for LilyPond.
Is there? Wow.
Yes.
I thought there probably would be. It didn't actually mention it. It said, Vim is another editor you can use. It also said if you don't already know Emacs, don't try using Emacs for LilyPond.
I'm looking at the AUR artwork page and it says, that comes with most for Emacs and Vim.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it.